tucked away in the shadowed corridors of the palace, a delicate piece of parchment, marked with the unmistakable hint of a child's curiosity, unveils Prince George's clandestine communication to his estranged uncle, Prince Harry. This provocative message, more than mere words, serves as a catalyst for seismic tremors within the House of Windsor. What provoked such a daring action, and how did it remain hidden until now? Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. In the age-old chambers of Buckingham Palace, where whispers echo like ghosts from the past, secrets often lie hidden in plain sight. Dust dances through narrow beams of light that seep through the stained glass, where in one such muted corner, an innocuous desk drew little attention. Beneath the lace of silk curtains, under guarded glances of gilded portraits with piercing eyes, lay the revelation, a letter, penned with a sincerity untamed by regal decorum. Emerging from the shadows was Prince George's forgotten parchment, a living testament to the unspoken bond shared across familial divide. Here was the young prince's heart, concealed boldly within articulated words, meant only for one set of eyes, weaving a story of unyielding innocence amid tarnished bloodlines. The message, shrouded in veiled curiosity and a yearning for connection, dared to cross the boundaries erected by the paramount dispute between his father and uncle. In the quiet of his room, away from the pressing eyes of tradition, why did George choose to reach out? Reasons perhaps as multiple as the whispers themselves, danced in and out of realms of imagination. Was it the longing of a boy, reaching for a figure he had only known through fragmented memories and hearsay, a man once revered and now painted as distant, yet near in unwritten allegiance? Or was it the tender stirrings of family love that eclipsed even the monumental facades of royal tensions? Each stroke of his quill carried the weight of these ponderings, eager to breach the barriers time had forged. What unfolded was more than just a token of whispered confidence. The implications of this stretching bond rattled through the palace's steely weight, tugging at the tapestries of ancient custom. Revelations reached the corridors where duty and honor remain fiercely protected, striking at the very sinews of royal fabric. If a child could leave an emblem of reconciliation at the feet of division, what might this mean for the future of a lineage cast in gold and controversy? Each word penned defied the taut reins of decorum, sculpting a narrative that dared challenge the status quo, invoking both hope and uncertainty amid polished corridors and hushed parlors. Yet, the greatest intrigue lay in the layers of secrecy enveloping this correspondence. Who held knowledge of this hidden bridge, spanning kinship worn asunder in the hush of twilight, amidst guarded shadows, whose knowing smile betrayed the weight of its secrets, and, more pressing still, who remained in gilded ignorance, oblivious to the quiet uprising of a parchment's whisper? The tension thickened as these questions hung precariously, waiting for the inevitable revelation to cascade through dynastic order. As the ink of young George's pen unveils truths cloaked in royal regalia, the hearts and minds of those it touches brace for the storm its revelation might unleash. Once inseparable, the brothers who shared boyhood dreams now stand polar opposites in their royal odyssey, a journey marred by rifts carved deep into the heart of the monarchy. How did the once unbreakable duo fragment into personas of contention, and what lies beneath their strained brotherhood? The bond between William and Harry was the stuff of legend, two princely figures etched against a world of glitz and ceremonial grandeur, yet finding solace in their mutual understanding. They were united by the shared shadows of loss and public scrutiny, support reflected in playful banter and a twinkle mutual understanding. But as the gilded halls of royalty loomed over their youth, so too did the pressures they could not escape. Their once jocular camaraderie slowly frayed, imperceptibly at first, like the erosion of a subtle thread hidden beneath layers of velvet. Public engagements and familial obligations took them in different directions, deftly masked under the guise of dutiful confidence and simplicity they wore for the world. Yet, beneath this veneer, the seeds of divergence were stealthily sown. William, the elder, bore the weighty crown of responsibility with sombre grace, a beacon of continuity and tradition. His path was predetermined. It was forged in tapestries of duty and extensive public service, designed by the age-old monarchy. Opposite him, Harry's fervent desire for independence and authenticity clashed with the confines of his birth. He floundered, yearning to carve his identity beyond royal expectation, beyond the polished facades that cloaked him since childhood. It was his untamed spirit, once a source of endearment, that gradually refracted into a prism of disruption. Key moments shattered illusions of possibilities. The bitter fallout over Harry's whirlwind romance and eventual marriage, the ceaseless glare of a critical spotlight, and unrestrained declarations of personal pain. These events eroded the fragile bridges they had once been able to build across the chasm separating them. The public, hungry for scandal and solace, interpreted their dynamics with ravenous speculation. Media narratives sought to stoke flames higher, fueling a narrative of rivals poised for impending tension. Yet, the reality, cloaked in veritable shadows, revealed far more complex layers of hurt and yearning. The Fishers, obscured from public view, told a tale of two brothers adrift from the mooring of trust, a betrayal far deeper than tabloid bluster could ever grasp. The churning whisper of legacy is reflected on the wall as they weave tales of bygone regal siblings, brothers whose relationships faced the crucible of duty and dominance, often sinister harbingers of history's cyclical nature. Their ghosts inhabit the unsteady foundation of present-day discord, silently urging reflection and reconciliation. It is within this maelstrom of past and present that young George's innocent hand holds peril or promise. Will his words be those of a gentle mediator, a beacon against the tidal wave of time's unyielding march? Will he honor the past or unwittingly deepen the crevasse? William's stability acts as a counterbalance, a rock amidst the surging waves, threatening to engulf the monarchical vessel, while Harry's disruption, though unforeseen, carries the potential tidal forces of change, challenging the status quo and yielding a chance to rebuild upon boundaries once thought impassable. As their story unfolds, the question looms: will this be another chapter in the annals of familial strife, or will it herald a new dawn ordained with unity and progress? The echoes of a bygone brotherhood linger in the corridors, presaging a new act, one that young George may inadvertently script. Behind the innocent eyes of Prince George lies a world far more intricate and tangled than any child should navigate. As he stands beneath the opulent chandeliers and within the grand halls of the castle, he is the silent observer of a kingdom swayed by undercurrents of rivalry and the echoes of ancient feuds. The laughter that reverberates through the halls often masks undercurrents of tension, and behind every diplomatic smile, George discerns the quivering lines of unspoken conflict. He was born into luxury, but in this world gilded with splendor, shadows of discord are inescapable. From a young age, George's vantage point provided a vivid tapestry of ceremonial duties and whispered intrigues. He watched with widening eyes the exchange of curt glances between family members who feigned affection while harboring grudges rooted deep in the past. Such sights crafted a duality in his understanding, one world glowing with the brilliant jewels of royal heritage, another marred by the simmering tensions that came with it. His innocent curiosity evolves into a perceptive wisdom beyond his years, carving insight from spat words and exchanged looks. The palace, with its myriad rooms and countless secrets, has become his observatory, where the drama of succession and legacy play out like a silent play before him. He absorbs the nuances of every council meeting he overhears, every subtle jab exchanged at grand dinners. Events like his father's terse debates with advisors or his mother's quiet tears, witnessed from the shadows, are woven into the fabric of his understanding. Each moment etches itself into his memory, sculpting his memory, sculpting his memory, sculpting his memory, irrespective on the responsibilities thrust upon those born to rule. Through boyish eyes, he sees an empire built on the unsteady foundations of compromise and sacrifice, haunted by its own illustrious past. His youthful insights are not confined to naive idealism. They are layered with the gravity learned from observing the weight of duty carried by shoulders much older than his own. George's motivations are complex, entwined with the delicate cords of familial loyalty and personal ambition. He pens letters as he tries to unravel those cords, imbued with the emotional weight of every frustration and yearning for reconciliation he has witnessed. Lines that speak not just of the tangible immediacies, but of the fractures he longs to mend, fearing the emptiness that disconnection might bring. His young heart knows the power words might wield, whether they are to bind together splintering traditions or to soothe the divides threatening to cleave apart the relationships he cherishes most. Aware, perhaps consciously or not, of the significance of legacy, George surveys not just his family, but the kingdom with a resolve shaped by his observations. He walks the fine line between tradition's imposing presence and the stirrings of his own desires for unity. There is a future waiting for him, beckoning with promises of a role he alone might document or redefine, tasked with orchestrating harmony or further unraveling the intimate connections he understands all too well. Legacy is not merely a burden from the past for him, but a call to action, a canvas upon which he might paint a more harmonious future. As George silently pens a message fraught with complexity, his words become the key poised to unlock or reinforce the familial ties ensnaring those he loves. The world holds its breath, caught between anticipation and trepidation as the delicate script of Prince George's letter finds its way into the public eye. Each word, prepared with earnestness and a childlike sophistication, invites a scrutiny that neither the boyish innocence of the sender nor the seasoned resilience of his uncle could have foreseen. Dear Uncle Harry, the letter begins, its simplicity disarming, its power haunting. I miss when we used to play, when everything was fun and not like a TV show. Mum says adults forget fun sometimes, but she also says you are good at remembering. Please come back just a little bit, even if to just remind adults how to have fun again. Your nephew George, the truthfulness in his words, untouched by the intricate tangles of adult affairs, strikes at the heart of a family's sprawling divide. Harry, braced against the storm of media frenzy that has so often shadowed his steps, stands face to face with the purest of pleadings. Is it possible for a heart hardened by relentless scrutiny and bruised by betrayal to yield to such undeniable sincerity? In his mind, a cacophony of emotions swell, the echoes of erstwhile laughter mingling with the distant cries of contention swirl into a tempest he can scarcely articulate. For him, the letter becomes more than an invitation to joy. It is a summons to reconcile with a past that's been painted in broad, unforgiving strokes of headlines and whispers. Simultaneously, the innocence of George's letter lays bare the stark contrast to the labyrinthine complexities Harry now navigates. The world, eager to interpret every familial tremor, seizes this revelation, dissecting the tender narrative of a boy's longing against the narrative thrust upon his uncle by circumstance. Public opinion oscillates wildly. Is the message an olive branch, pure and true, or a carefully orchestrated ploy by a monarchy keen on restoration more than redemption? The ethical quagmire thickens, raising questions that ripple far beyond royal halls. Should private family engagements, spotlighted by the society's voracious curiosity, dictate the ebb and flow of the public conscience? Can one letter, infinitely personal and yet publicly paraded, truly alter perceptions gilded by legacy and law? The media machine, insatiable and unyielding, pulses with renewed energy. Pundits, in their tailored suits and coiffed certainty, debate the ethics of this unguarded moment. Was the leak a mere accident, or the result of careful, calculated engineering? Who, if anyone, benefits from such exposure? Behind the public facade lies a tangle of speculation and intent, a labyrinth where truth is as elusive as peace. As voices rise and narratives clash, the letter's impact stretches its shadow over royal and commoner alike. Each word, as innocent as it is incendiary, serves as a litmus test not only for familial relations, but for a public ravenous for narrative closure, the kind of resolution that real life rarely allows. As Harry contemplates the sincerity woven into George's words, the royal family braces for what his response, or silence, might herald. Their world, tightly wound and controlled, now waits with bated breath. The echoes of laughter mix with the rustle of two long whispers, offering a poignant reminder. Reconciliation, much like discord, needs but a moment, a memory, or a message to reignite, leaving behind a trail of possibilities, both tender and terrifying, for a future none can quite predict. Caught in the throes of an unexpected revelation, Prince William finds himself on the precipice of a profound internal crisis. The discovery of a letter, a silent testament disrespectfully penned and maliciously hidden, introduces unforeseen shadows over his carefully orchestrated life. His heart, initially seized by shock, quickly consumes itself in a fervor of hurt and bewilderment. This missive, tucked away in secrecy, speaks louder than a triumphant parade of bugles. It's a haunting symbol of the duplicity dwelling amidst corridors lined with ancestral portraits. How does one hold court amid such personal upheaval, even as the very essence of duty beckons its unwavering claim? Duty? A word that weighs heavy on his shoulders, synonymous with a crown he has yet to wear. The future king, destined to embody centuries of regal tradition, now finds his own expectations clashing violently with the nuances of familial allegiance. As he navigates this emotional minefield, the fissures within his kinship grow more pronounced, reminding him that even blood can be stained by betrayal. In every casual encounter and formal engagement, William must decide: a path of rapprochement towards amending those fractured ties, or a calculated retreat to protect himself from further harm. Each choice spins its own web, threatening to ensnare not just himself, but the kingdom he is to inherit. This moment, the silent outcry of a prince, unfolds as a telling symbol of the larger tensions coursing through the royal veins. The House of Windsor, ever under the glaring scrutiny of public and press alike, finds its internal struggles laid bare in the choices of one man. In his attempt to reconcile personal desires with the indomitable demands of the crown, William becomes the embodiment of the monarchy's perpetual balancing act, a dance on the edge of a knife between closeness and detachment, intimacy and isolation. As this storm brews within him, the ramifications of Prince William's reactions lie heavy in the air, both those broadcasted to the world and those cloaked in the privacy of personal chambers. A forced smile here, a moment of hesitation there. The slightest misstep could tip the scales, sending ripples through centuries-old traditions, perhaps even heralding a new era of vulnerability for the monarchy itself. And yet in this trial by fire, there remains a glimmer of possibility, the potential for renewal, redefinition, and reinvigoration of a legacy that for so long has rested on the shoulders of silent sacrifice. In the wake of this newfound knowledge, William stands as both a symbol and a person, a beacon of continuity and change. The choices he makes will undoubtedly etch themselves into the annals of history, influencing not just his path, but the very future of an institution deeply entrenched in its past. As the debate rages within William, torn between crown and kin, the echoes of this revelation threaten to unravel the very threads of royal continuity. Behind the stoic facades and gilded walls of the palace, fractured whispers grow, a palace divided in response to a missive more potent than political maneuvering. What schemes, allegiances, or betrayals linger behind locked doors, waiting to reshape the royal narrative? The corridors buzzed with quiet murmurs and furtive glances as news of the message seeped into the heart of the palace, cracking the veneer of civilities that so meticulously cloaked its inner workings. Advisors gathered in shadowed corners, their whispers sharp and hushed. Some saw the letter as a beacon of healing, a long overdue balm for the festering wounds that had been kept under the royal seal. They spoke with quiet fervor of reconciliation, urging a return to harmony, hoping to mend jarring familial rifts that threatened the monarchy's legacy. But not all were drawn to such idealistic visions. Others saw in the letter an opportunity, a chance to reinforce divisions, to vie for positions unraveled by familial discord. This faction, cloaked in cynicism and self-preservation, viewed unity as an illusion, a fragile cloak easily torn by ambition. To them, the rustle of paper carried not just words, but a chance to realign the power structures nestled within the palace's grandiose chambers. Yet with such potent secrets, the threat of leaks loomed ominously, casting long shadows over palace confidentiality. Every servant, every trusted aide, now became a potential conduit through which secrets might spill into the public domain, their whispers echoing beyond gilded confines to a public ravenous for insight into royal lives. Each misplaced trust, each errant word spun tighter webs of suspicion. And within these hallways, the certainty that eyes and ears surrounded was inescapable. Royal responsibilities undue, such scrutiny became burdens made heavier by personal strife. Public duties proceeded with less grace. the cracks in regal composure, evident to even the most loyal subjects. Events meant to project unity instead mirrored the growing division. Every missed word, every awkward gesture scrutinized for hints of the unseen turmoil. Even the slightest ceremonial slip became a signal to the world of the strife simmering beneath royal robes. As the palace continued its charade of normalcy, tension ruled in the silent spaces between public appearances. Within these moments, advisors feared the inevitable, the emergence of further stories, of truths untold. They foresaw the potential of a palace, besieged by its own deeds, an edifice of dignity, nearly toppled by a cascade of revelations. Each passing day heightened the anticipation of another leak, another damning story, ready to fracture what unity remained, with allies teetering on shifting sands and adversaries sharpening their knives in anticipation. The struggle for control pressed fiercely against the bounds of royal constitution. And so, the palace stood, a crucible of tension and resolve, awaiting the turning of a page in history, a chapter rich with uncertainty but ripe with possibility, where forces within wrestled not just for dominance, but for the very soul of the dynasty. The next chapter is etched in anticipation, as forces within wrestle for control of a family's fate. As the royal saga spills beyond palace confines, the world watches, eager to interpret every sigh and smile through the lens of a narrative both relatable and elusive. In a universe where castles conceal age-old secrets and gilded corridors echo with whispers of power, public sentiment teeters, caught between awe and scrutiny. By the luminous glow of screens and the palpable rustle of newspaper pages, people trace the lines of this unfolding drama, each twist feeding their insatiable appetite for the extraordinary veiled with vulnerability. Social media buzzes with life, ceaseless and relentless, a digital beehive distilling truths from falsehoods with a ferocity that leaves no corner of the world untouched. Here, the tension splits along invisible lines as tweets and posts weave a modern tapestry of allegiance and dissent, conjecture and contemplation. An undeniable force draws public empathy towards the trio of George, Harry, and William as their fabric of dreams and duty begins to unravel in public view. Listened to in cafes or whispered between friends, their plight strikes a universal chord. George, the reluctant prince stepping into an arena, not of his choosing, stands the epicenter of a narrative both ancient and achingly current. Harry, forever the enigma, dances on the edge of familial ties and personal freedom, his every move dissected with a zeal matched only by sporting events. William, the dutiful cornerstone, balances loyalty and modernity, aware that history watches with a patience learned through eons. These parallels draw haunting comparisons to past royal intrigues, stories entwined in history's shadow. Echoes of abdications past or rebellions quelled rise like specters, beckoning this generation to wonder, has the crown ever truly been still? Each parallel feeds the hungry need for narrative, a thirst for legends living in real time that bind people to the royals in unexpected debate. The question echoes through opulent halls and humble homes alike. Will this fiery discourse reshape or reinforce perceptions of the monarchy? For some, the saga signals a refreshing evolution, a necessary storm to dispel the cobwebs of outdated tradition. For others, the tumult seems a dangerous unraveling, where the soothing stain of royal constancy might lose its magic glow. History professors murmur of cycles, while cultural pundits speculate over glasses of wine or cups of tea. Commentators hold court through columns, weaving opinions that both challenge and cherish the institution, suggesting a transition beyond the impervious facade of regality toward a more human narrative. Yet, amid the cacophony of opinions, one truth remains inescapable. The scrutiny and the sympathy strength of public engagement have created a stage larger than the monarchy itself. How the royal family navigates this will carve paths not only towards a reimagined legacy, but could reverberate through corridors of power for generations. As speculation swells and the public's gaze intensifies, the stage is set for an unpredictable denouement that might redefine the boundaries of royal engagement. The recent revelation of Prince George's heartfelt message ignites a peculiar spark amid the prevailing chill, a flicker of hope, or a harbinger of deeper discord. As this modern Gothic tale of royalty unfolds, the pivotal question remains: Can this seemingly simple act be the bridge mending deep familial schisms, or does it act as a catalyst, propelling the rift to irrevocable dimensions? One cannot overlook the possible healing George's innocence may spark. His youthful sincerity holds a unique power, unconstrained by the weighty history burdening his elders. If embraced with genuine intent by those involved, George's gesture could lead to unprecedented dialogue, a younger generation implicitly urging quiet reflection and mutual acknowledgement of shared humanity. At a time when rigid postures have become the norm, this unlikely mediator might prompt a return to familial warmth, ostensibly lost in recent telegrams across continents. Conversely, there lurks a compelling risk that the missive might stoke existing tensions further. In royal dynamics, where unsaid words often convey more than those spoken, the innocent candor of a child stands at odds with long-held entrenched grievances. A young prince's gentle plea, viewed through politics of estrangement and erstwhile close kinship, might inadvertently deepen divides, laying bare raw realities some seek to ignore or conceal. Public sentiment will undeniably play a critical role in steering this familial drama. The monarchy's relationship with its people sits intricately interwoven into its future maneuvers. Should public forgiveness unfurl gracefully from this point, offering support for reconciliation over reprimand, it could set a precedent that encourages the royals toward harmony. The public's voice arguably holds the potential to guide royal actions, making the family's every step a careful calibration against the tide of opinion. By dissecting this event, the evolving narrative surrounding the royal dynamics becomes ever more complex. It underscores the perpetual tension between tradition and modernity, highlighting a royal family's struggle to remain relatable yet distinguished in a rapidly changing era. As this backdrop frames the royals' journey, they stand at a pivotal juncture wherein transparency and authenticity might serve as the only torchlight through encroaching fog. With George, Harry, and William at its heart, the long-term consequences are multifaceted. For George, this moment becomes an indelible chapter in his youthful annals, perhaps shaping his understanding of unity and division within walls of privilege. For Harry and William, it is yet another nuanced episode in their intricate relationship, an opportunity to reflect upon the shared lenses of brotherhood conditioned by monarchy, the opportunity to turn a page or pen a scar deeper. Looking forward, the family has a spectrum of theoretical paths to consider. They might seize this occasion to craft a narrative redefining familial bonds in postmodern royalty, where dialogue nurtured in innocence leads by example. Alternatively, they may steer further into self-preservation, a choice risking the deeper creation of parallel lives scripted far apart. The world waits as these possibilities clandestinely probe each prince's next intricate move, be it a gesture, a statement, or silently echoed actions. As the music fades and the courtroom of public opinion deliberates, the saga of resonance and fracture spins onward, leaving only anticipation for the annals history will soon record